Hey everyone, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel and the Catechism for Kids. Today, we're diving into a super important and action-packed book of the Bible, the second book of Kings, if you thought one. But Kings was a roller coaster. Just wait. This book continues the story of Israel and Judah, and it's full of drama, miracles, and some really big lessons. So what happens when people listen to God? What happens when they don't? Let's find out. The second book of Kings picks up right where the first one left off. Focusing on the divided kingdoms of Israel and Judah after King Ahab, the story kicks off with a major event, the end of the prophet Elijah's time on earth and the beginning of Elisha's powerful ministry. These two prophets are like spiritual superheroes, speaking God's truth, performing incredible signs, and challenging corrupt kings to turn back to what's right. You see, both kingdoms were really struggling to stay faithful. Many of the kings just didn't want to follow God's ways. They built altars to false gods and completely ignored the promises their ancestors had made to the Lord. The prophets, like Elisha, were sent to warn them, shouting from the rooftops, "Hey, you're going the wrong way." But sadly, most of the leaders and the people just plugged their ears. And as we'll see, that led to some serious trouble. The northern kingdom, Israel, was the first to fall. They had ignored God's warnings for so long that eventually they were conquered by a powerful empire called Assyria. The people were captured and taken away from their homes. This is what the Bible calls exile. A little while later, the southern kingdom, Judah, made the same mistakes. The Babylonians came, destroyed the beautiful city of Jerusalem and its temple, and took the people of Judah into exile too. The book ends on this really sad note, with God's people far from home, their nation in ruins. But even in this darkness, there's a tiny glimmer of hope, a little hint that maybe one day things could be set right. The main lesson here is that turning away from God leads to destruction. It's a powerful reminder that faithfulness matters, especially when life gets hard. But through all the chaos, God never truly abandoned his people. He was always present, sending prophets to guide them, and even in exile, they were not forgotten. So, who wrote 2 Kings and why? The author isn't named, but scholars believe it was probably a prophet or a priest who lived through these tough times. The book was likely finished after Jerusalem fell, while the people were in exile in Babylon. Imagine being there, your home is gone, the temple is destroyed, and you feel lost and confused. This book was written to help them understand how they got to that point. It was a way of looking back at their history to learn from their mistakes. The writer collected all these stories about kings, prophets, and battles that had been passed down through generations. He wasn't just listing facts. He was telling a story with a deep spiritual meaning. He wanted to show that the choices of the leaders, both good and bad, had huge consequences for the entire nation. The message was clear. Being faithful to God brings blessings, while turning away from him brings sorrow. This book is a powerful reminder that God calls us to walk in his ways, and that even in our darkest moments, his promises still hold true. Now, let's talk about the style. 2 Kings is written like a history book, but it's way more exciting. It's filled with short, powerful stories. For each king, the author gives a quick summary: who he was, how long he ruled, and most importantly, whether he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord or did evil. This simple pattern helps us see a direct link between the king's faithfulness and the nation's well-being. But the book isn't just about kings. It's also packed with amazing stories about prophets, especially Elisha. We see him parting rivers, healing the sick, feeding the hungry, and even raising someone from the dead. These miracles aren't just for show. They're meant to reveal God's incredible power and his deep mercy. The prophets are portrayed as courageous messengers who spoke the truth, no matter how dangerous it was. The overall tone of the book is serious. It's a clear warning about the consequences of sin, but it's not all doom and gloom. It also shows a God who is patient and who keeps sending help, giving his people chance after chance to come back to him. The core message shines through in every chapter. Listen to God, stay faithful, and do what is right. For us as Catholics, 2 Kings is packed with lessons that still resonate today. First, faithfulness matters. The kings who followed God, like Hezekiah and Josiah, brought peace and blessings to their people. The ones who didn't brought disaster. It's a clear illustration of how our obedience and faith can lead to so much good. Second, God sends help. He didn't leave his people to figure things out alone. He sent prophets like Elisha to guide and teach them. In our lives, we have the church, the saints, priests, and good leaders who help guide us on the right path. We're never truly alone. Third, we see God's judgment and mercy side by side. When the people repeatedly ignored God, their kingdoms fell. That was the consequence, the judgment. But God never completely abandoned them. He watched over them in exile and promised a future restoration. This is central to our Catholic faith. Even when we sin, God's mercy is always there, waiting for us to return to Him through confession and prayer. And finally, the book teaches us about hope in hard times. It ends in a place of sadness, but there's that little spark of hope. A descendant of King David is treated with kindness in exile, hinting at the future promise of a Savior. For us, that promise is fulfilled in Jesus Christ, who came to save us all. 2 Kings is a tough story, but it's a necessary one. It calls us to stay close to God, reminding us that He is both just and merciful. Let's break down the book into its main parts. It starts with the ministry of Elisha, after Elijah is taken up to heaven. We see all of his miracles and messages from God. Then, the book shifts to the fall of the northern kingdom, Israel. We meet a king named Jehu, who starts out strong but whose successors lead the people astray, culminating in the Assyrian exile. The final section focuses on the kingdom of Judah, now standing alone. We see some good kings, like Hezekiah and Josiah, who desperately try to lead the people back to God. But ultimately, the pull of sin is too strong, and Jerusalem is destroyed by the Babylonians. Throughout these sections, the story constantly shows how the choices of leaders impact everyone, and how God remains involved, always giving people a chance to return. Now you might be thinking this happened thousands of years ago. Why does 2 Kings matter to me now? Great question. The stories of these kings and prophets are timeless because they're about choices we all face. We see leaders who are selfish and leaders who are selfless. We see people who follow God and people who follow the crowd. These stories hold up a mirror to our own lives and our own world. We still see leaders who make harmful choices, but we also see modern-day Elishas and Josiahs, people who listen to God and dedicate their lives to doing good. This book shows us that even in dark times, we have the power to choose what is right and true. Most importantly, 2 Kings reminds us to trust God. The world can feel like it's falling apart sometimes, just like it did for the people of Israel and Judah. But the ultimate message is that God is faithful. He stays with His people, and when we follow Him, we find a path to true life and peace. When we mess up, the Church provides a way back through confession and prayer, reminding us that God's mercy is always available. You'll even hear parts of 2 Kings read at Mass. For example, the story of Elisha and the childless woman who shows him great kindness is often read. She gives without expecting anything in return, and Elisha promises her the one thing her heart desires, a son. It's a beautiful story about how generosity and faith open the door to God's unexpected blessings. These readings are often paired with gospel stories where Jesus performs similar miracles, connecting the Old and New Testaments and showing us the complete picture of God's plan. So, here's a challenge for you. Take some time this week to explore the 2nd book of Kings. It's full of action, it's drama, and powerful lessons about trusting God. It's a story about what happens when a nation turns its back on its Creator, but it's also a story about a God who never ever gives up on His people. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share what you learned in the comments below. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. See you next time, and God bless you always.